everyone, and welcome to Shut Up and Watch the Movie. I'm Christina.
I'm Tyson.
Each week, we make each other watch a movie. Sometimes we'll like it. Sometimes we might not. We try to have fun.
We're always having fun here.
I think you liked all my movies, and that's what's
Yes.
happening this week, is I made you watch Pride and Prejudice.
And let me tell you, what a gay old time that was. I had a great time. I was trying to think of a word that was like...
Old-timey,
yeah,
that's like
within
the
the
first one that
period.
popped in your brain.
Yeah, okay, but
Great.
we can't start with that yet
We can't start with that yet.
because we have a little segment.
Yes, we do.
Do you want to say what the segment is?
It's called the Teeny Tiny Movie Corner. I feel like we need another theme for this.
What,
We need
a theme
we need
song?
like a take it away, and then it's like teeny tiny movie.
I'm not
corner.
gonna make that. If somebody else wants to make that, that's fine. Or like we need like a transition sound. We need a
Yes.
soundboard.
Yeah, no, we should. There's another podcast I've been listening to, and they do like a segment, and every time they do that one segment, they have like a little song, they sing into it, and I think it's funny and fun.
Yeah,
So-
there's a podcast I listen to that does the same thing. So we should probably do that if we want to be podcast professionals.
Yep.
We only just got good audio quality like a couple episodes ago. So.
And let's keep upping our game.
Yeah, exactly.
The people love to hear it. But anyway, time for Teeny Tiny Movie Corner. This is where we
talk about a movie
got it.
from the past week that we just watched, warm up a little bit, say whether or not we recommend it or not. Okay.
Usually I feel like we pick something that we enjoy.
Yeah, we usually do pick something we enjoy.
All right. Do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, so, well, we went to Disneyland not too long
We
ago.
did. Yay,
And-
it was so fun.
And Pirates of the Caribbean, great ride.
Fantastic. One of my favorites.
And so I rewatched the first Pirates of the Caribbean.
Great
And then I
movie.
actually watched the second too, because the first one is like a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Genuinely a fantastic
And you
movie.
watched the third.
Yeah, we just
We
while we're
literally
recording this,
watched
we
it
just
right
came out of
before
finishing the
this.
third one. I don't like the third one as much. In fact, it's
Okay.
definitely my least favorite. I have not watched the fourth or the fifth one recently, so I'm sure those are worse. Mm-hmm. But yeah, dude, Gore Verbinski, he's becoming one of my favorite directors.
You've gone on a little dive.
I went on a Gore Verbinski kick.
Uh-huh.
He did The Ring, the American remake of The Ring.
Uh-huh.
Fantastic horror movie.
Okay.
I prefer, maybe that's sacrilege, but I prefer it to the Japanese one. We had to watch the Japanese one
haven't
for a
seen
horror movie
either.
class. He did a movie called Mouse Hunt, which is just like
told me about
fucking
this.
bonkers.
Uh-huh.
It's just bonkers. And then he did A Cure for Wellness, which I just watched.
That one I don't know anything about.
That one's a little clusterfucky.
Okay.
Same with the third Pirates of the... All his movies are like over 2 hours, by the way. So maybe rein it in a little bit.
Oof.
Rein it in
I
a
don't know
little bit.
about that.
I'm going to watch Rango soon. You know
Oh,
Rango?
Rango's great.
Yeah, Jack loves Rango.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll have a little apartment watch of Rango.
I love Rango. That's a great movie.
All right, Christina, though.
Wait, so you named like 10 movies there.
The Pirates. First Pirates.
The first
movies.
Pirates was like your pick.
Good movie. Watch it if you haven't seen
Great
it.
movie. Oh my gosh. I know, because I as you've been watching the Pirates movies, I've been like in and out of the room, and it's making me want to like genuinely sit down and rewatch the first one, because
Yeah.
the first one I didn't catch any of, and that's just a good movie.
It is a good movie.
It's just a good movie.
A lot of yarg. You know what I mean?
Yarg. Yo.
Arr, I'm a pirate. No hook hands on any of the pirates in any of the movies.
I don't have a problem with that.
well,
you guys were complaining, and I don't have an issue
You
with it.
throw a hook hand on one of them.
Yeah,
That's
but,
like a pirate staple.
I don't know. I guess I'm satisfied with Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley having their little romance, I guess.
But would it be sexier if they all had hook hands?
No.
Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom both had hook hands on both hands, and they just like...
Hey, go to Disney. I'm sure they would be down for another Pirates movie.
Exactly.
Actually, well,
maybe. It couldn't be.
there's a lot of
You probably couldn't. You probably have to like do a completely fresh new.
and I feel like they couldn't do that actually.
No, wasn't Margot Robbie going to be in a Pirates
For
movie?
a minute there, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Which-
what that would have been.
I don't know.
I don't. Why would she do that?
I feel like
She doesn't need to do that.
it was. I mean, it was also several years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, those
don't
were
know.
good movies.
Dead franchise though.
I don't. Yeah.
I think
I
it's over.
think we just need to. I think
it's
we need
over.
to accept it for.
we can always just
what it
make a
was.
new pirate story that isn't Pirates of the Caribbean. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
feel like there's room for pirate
I
movies.
wish Pirates of the Caribbean is not edgy, but like for Disney, I
Yeah,
feel
it
like it's
was.
very edgy, and I wish Disney
Definitely
would make more
PG-13.
stuff like that. Yeah, because I feel like they don't really make that type of thing. That was just like such like a lightning in a bottle. Like,
They've tried to replicate it with Haunted Mansion. Don't get me started on Haunted Mansion.
don't forget they made Jungle Cruise too.
Oh, they did do Jungle Cruise. Was that any good?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Oh, that couldn't have been any good.
I don't have high hopes for it, but I don't like to speak on movies I haven't seen. But
Well, I guess I haven't seen it either.
it didn't
but
look
I'm sure it's
promising.
not. I mean, there hasn't been a Jungle Cruise 2.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about the ride, but I feel like we need to move on.
We didn't ride the ride also. This,
No, we
this
didn't.
upcoming time.
That's so
or
true.
This past time.
Yeah, that's
All right,
true.
Christina, though.
Okay, my pick. I was also inspired by our trip to Disneyland, but also, okay, so I mentioned a Disney movie 2 weeks ago. This combination of like I've been babysitting and also our little Disneyland trip. I've been on a Disney kick. You've been on a Gore Verbinski kick. I've been on a Disney kick. And so while I was babysitting this week, we watched Frozen with the little girl I was babysitting. And listen, you guys, I get it. I get when this movie came out, it was overhyped. Let It Go was playing everywhere all the time, and we all got tired of it. I understand. I was there. I lived it too.
Yeah.
But watching the movie, I was like, oh, this is good. Like, this is a good movie. Like, I know everyone got sick of it, but genuinely, everybody got excited about it for a reason, because it was a good movie.
I don't think I've actually ever sat down and watched the whole thing.
Oh, really?
No, I don't think so.
It's not like the greatest Disney movie ever by any means, but it's a good movie. Do you know the twist?
Yes, that's the part I do know.
I just remember seeing that in theaters when I was in like 6th grade, like 12-year-old me. I was gagged. When he said, "Oh, Anna, if only somebody loved you."
Spoilers, by the way.
The floor.
Spoilers for the people who haven't seen Frozen.
If you haven't seen Frozen by now, it's like 10 years old. What are you doing?
That is 10 years old.
Is it actually 10? It's roughly 10.
2014. It's 2024 now. So yeah, 10 years.
It's crazy. Yeah, sorry. Get with the times. Catch up. Spoiler alerts, I guess. When he said that in theaters, my jaw dropped. I was gagged. And watching it this time too, I was like, I mean, obviously I knew it was coming, but I was like, that's a good twist.
That's a good,
because it's a Disney movie. You don't expect him to do that. And then even after that, you're like, oh, okay, so now she's going to go kiss Kristoff, and that's what's going to break the curse. And that's not. It's the power of love between sisters.
It's a real Twisters moment where they don't kiss. Well, not the sisters, but like, you know how they don't kiss at the end of Twisters?
Yeah, well, 1, I didn't see Twisters, and 2, I don't.
You didn't see Twisters?
No.
Did we not talk about Twisters on this podcast?
You did, because it was your pick one week, and then I was like, oh, me and Bailey were going to go see it this week, and we're so excited, and then we ended up seeing Barbie in concert instead.
Too many things happen in life.
We're so busy.
My brain is
busy living the life. Yeah, so I actually never ended up seeing it, but I also think it's different than that because I don't think Glenn Powell ended up being a villain in Twisters, unless I'm wrong. Yeah. I will say, since watching Frozen end of last week, early this week, I have now watched pretty much the entire Frozen franchise. Not just Frozen 1 and Frozen 2. I mean, Olaf's Frozen Adventure. The one where it's Anna's birthday. I don't even know what it's called. Olaf also has like some sort of TV show on Disney Plus, and I will say I was feeling really excited about Frozen in the beginning of the week, and now I'm a little I'm like, all right,
this is about where I'm at with Pirates, because I just sped run 3.
Like I was really excited to rewatch that and rediscover that it is indeed a good movie, and now I'm like, all right, I'm like, okay, let's pump the brakes, let's calm down. But yeah, Olaf. Just here to confirm to everyone that children are still obsessed with Frozen and still want to sing "Let It Go" every 5 minutes.
Man, they gotta grow up. We're gonna be getting Frozen movies forever.
If you're out there and you're 4 years old and you like Frozen, grow
like
up.
Something more recent. I don't know.
But it's a good movie. That's what I'm saying, though. It's a good movie.
I guess what do kids have now?
And
like
it's a
Coco
sweet
Melon.
Movie.
They have like sensory videos.
What even is like the recent Disney movies?
Oh God, I don't even Wish.
Oh, I don't
think people liked Wish.
I don't think people did either. I never saw it.
Look.
Moana 2 is coming out, and I love Moana. Moana is one of my favorite Disney
I've seen
movies,
Moana.
And I'm very scared that Moana 2 is not going to be good.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see.
But yeah, I don't want to get too stuck on
Yeah, we got to get into
Disney
Pride
discussion.
and Prejudice.
We were really out here hyping up like 10, 15-year-old Disney movies.
Yeah, I'm sure they need the help from us.
Disney.
To get them that extra streaming revenue.
No. Disney needs sponsors, so they should contact us.
I mean, if they want to sponsor this podcast, I will.
I will hype up every single Disney movie.
I have no loyalty to anybody. I'll sell my soul if I need to.
No, I'd be so thrilled. But we're not sponsored by Disney, so we're going to talk about a movie that's not Disney related.
True.
Which is Pride and Prejudice.
Though it's in the public domain.
The 2005 version, to be clear.
You made me watch this.
Yeah. Did you have any thoughts going into this?
No,
concerns?
I just knew it was going to be like a Jane Austen romance. Yeah, I just kind of knew what the vibe was going to be.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And it delivered that. But let me tell you, you were right. I think Christina said to me before we watched this, she said, you're going to be yearning. You're going to be pining.
We're going to swoon a little.
Swooning. I did all those things. This movie took me on a yearning journey.
Oh, I love to yearn. I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, I have nothing to yearn for right now. And that's what's missing in my life.
Yeah. Jane Austen understands the fun of having like a little crush.
Yes, exactly. Until it turns into like a painstaking,
like a heart-wrenching love.
Yeah, heart-wrenching, life-ruining. But let's get into it, because that's when I think it gets fun. Okay, so the movie starts off, basically, we get introduced to our main family, the Bennets.
The Bennets.
You have I don't even know how we can introduce it. There's 5 sisters, okay?
Oh, let me tell you, in a fucking eclectic bunch these are.
These are not proper young ladies, all right? So we have Mrs. Bennet as the mom, okay? She's like, she gossips, she talks, she's very all over the place.
She wants to sell off all her daughters to men.
Her goal in life is to get her daughters married.
Get them out of the house.
She has 5 daughters. Each one of them, she is trying desperately to get married. The dad, he is not a neglectful father, but he's like not super into his family. Yeah. He really likes Lizzie, who we'll get into in a moment. But the rest of his family, he's like, you're all kind of idiots and I just don't want to deal with you. Mm-hmm. That's like his attitude, okay? Then we have the 5 sisters.
Oh, my. Let me tell you, okay.
There's really only 2. 3, because there's one toward the end that becomes important.
No, it's not that they're not important, but like, what, Rosamund Pike and Keira Knightley?
Keira Knightley. You've been watching a lot of Keira Knightley lately with the going from pirates to this.
They're the 2 that I'd be like, fine with. Everybody else,
well, and that's kind
crying,
of what ends up happening.
Giggling, they're running around. They're always snickering about something. What are you snickering at?
They love to giggle.
No, but what are you? They're always being mischievous and laughing.
It's like people. I want to hate on them, but also you turned at me at one point when 2 of them are giggling, and you're like, "That's you and Bailey every day."
You guys are always snickering and giggling at things.
I love to giggle. I can't even hate on them, but yeah. So you have Elizabeth, who is our main character, Keira Knightley. She's just chill. She's kind of like, she's like a little stubborn, a little headstrong, but like overall like a pretty like normal, chill, nice person.
Accomplished, or I guess she's not accomplished by classical means.
When
they're
I was
like,
gonna say, what do you mean by accomplished?
Because they're like, oh yeah, accomplished women must have read every book and charted the stars or whatever. I don't even remember what he fucking said. He was like,
yeah, we can get into that. But so it's her.
Paint the
She's
Mona
our main
Lisa.
character. She's the most important person. Then her older sister Jane, probably the second most important person you know out of the family, at least.
Yeah, Rosamund Pike.
Jane, she's a little more reserved. She's a little quieter, a little shy, but she's like a sweet girl. She's just like nice. She's like sweet.
Madly, or I guess she doesn't start off madly in love with the red-haired guy.
She quickly becomes madly in love with him, but we have to.
We'll get to it.
Go to the ball to meet him. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I want to bring back balls. Anyway, then you have the 3 younger sisters, Lydia, Kitty, and Mary. And they are all actually Mary's not giggly, but they're
one of them's emo.
That's Mary, yeah.
One of them wears like black dresses, is like emo,
and she's like, I don't want to go to the ball. I think it's a bad
think balls
way
are
to
lame. That's not British. I think
lame is not a 1800s British term.
Maybe. We don't know that. We weren't.
But yeah, Lydia and Kitty especially, they're just always in a corner giggling about guys. They're a little boy crazy. That's like kind of the point.
Does this movie pass the Bechdel test?
I mean, probably not. It's a romance.
They're all of them are talking about men.
It's a romance, though.
I guess back at this time, like this was the woman's purpose.
I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean.
I'm purely saying from a historical standpoint in the societal norms, the goal was to get married off to a man.
There's a No, actually, I think that's technically about a guy. Yeah.
It doesn't have to.
The goal was to get married off. This is a romance movie.
Yeah.
A movie does not need to pass the Bechdel test.
No, I don't think so. I just think I find
it is interesting.
Amusing, the movie for the
Fair
girlies.
Point. I feel like.
But then I guess girlies love to yearn. So like, what am I?
The girlies love to yearn. Let me tell you, this is the girlies love this movie.
I hate yearning. I hate longing.
Really?
I want things, and when I don't get them, I long for them, and then it makes me very upset.
I need a silly little crush to yearn for right now. That's what my life is missing. I'm taking applications.
Taking applications?
For anyone out there that wants me to yearn over them. I'm going to change the topic now.
If you want someone to... I don't think you can arrange to yearn. Then you're not... It's going to be some different emotion. Yeah, it's going to be a secret other emotion. It can't be yearning at that point.
No, it'd be something different.
Yearning has to be like unrequited love. Or like love that's obstructed in some way.
Well, let's get into why we're yearning in this movie.
Okay, so what, they go to the ball?
So we have like this introduced, and then the mom comes in and she the mom and dad are talking, and they find out there's like this really big house, and this guy that owns it moved in, and like he's never really been there before, and they're like, oh, he's single. Oh my god! Like one of you needs to get married to him. So then they go to the ball, and they meet him, and his name is Mr. Bingley, and Mr. Bingley is there with his sister and Mr. Darcy.
Mr. Darcy.
How would you describe Mr. Darcy?
Oh my god, I love Mr. Darcy. Okay, so Mr. Darcy.
But at this point in the movie, you did not love Mr. Darcy.
No, but because I didn't get a full read on him.
But that's kind of the whole point of his character, is that he changes kind of halfway through the movie. But the first half of the movie, we do not like Mr. Darcy.
He's shy. He looks like he wants to kill himself all the time. Letterboxd is calling him slightly autistic. Look, I believe in all of these things. That
adds up, honestly. That tracks.
I feel like he's my spirit animal. He's at the ball. He fucking hates it. He doesn't want to be there.
It's funny with him being contrasted with Mr. Bingley. Mr. Bingley is like a golden retriever.
Dude, Mr. Bingley,
he's happy to be there. He
just looks like he has no thoughts, though.
He just seems nice.
He makes his decisions based on what Mr. Darcy tells him.
But because his friend Mr. Darcy is a good guy who's giving him advice. But you're getting ahead of ourselves because we don't know that much about him.
Okay.
He seems mysterious. So Mr. Bingley's there. He immediately takes interest in Jane, the oldest sister, and they're flirting and having a good time. Mr. Darcy, like you said, he's in a corner and looks like he wants to kill himself. He is not having a good time.
Classic.
Elizabeth is with her friend Charlotte, who's not too important, but she's with her friend Charlotte, and they overhear Mr. Bingley and Mr. Darcy talking. Mr. Bingley's like, "Oh, Jane's cute. I think her sister's pretty too." Oh. And Mr. Darcy's like, "Yeah, Mr. Darcy keeps perfectly tolerable, but no one here is piquing my interest."
He says,
and it's like,
none of these women are handsome, and I'm like, handsome? This is an interesting term.
I mean, it was the 1800s.
I know,
but Keira Knightley overhears this, and she's like, "Oh my god,
this guy!"
Because she also asks him at some point, "Oh, do you dance?" And he goes, "Not if I can help it." And she's like, dancing at that point was just social. Like, you just like say yes, you could like go and like.
Okay, here's what I'll say.
And he's like, "No," and she's like, "Damn, okay."
I'd like to take a moment and ask, when you go to a party now, are you a dancer? Are you a wallflower? Are you socializing?
A house party?
What is the modern day equivalent of a ball?
The club.
The club? I
don't like that.
I don't like the club.
You
can't hear anybody.
Clubbing is fun, but like I feel like you have to dance. Like, yeah, you're not going to sit down and talk chat.
Look, I could probably get behind. I don't know. I'm not a mosher. I feel like everybody at the club is so tightly packed together. I think
we've watched ball scenes like this before, and we've both been like, bring this back. We need this type of dancing. I like it. It's so fun.
There's like room to talk. Know, there's no surprises. You know the moves. You know the steps. You can't spring anything on me.
You know what? I'm going to say something controversial. This is what they should have asked in the debate the other day. What are we going to do as a society to bring back balls?
I don't even know. Like, I guess we got to build like ball venues.
I mean, just
let's go to the ball.
Exist. Hotels have ballrooms for like events and stuff.
What? Okay.
Is this like prom?
No. Okay. No. Here's what.
I didn't get senior prom because of COVID.
I didn't get senior prom either. But when I went to junior prom, it was moshing.
It was moshing. We as a society
we've degraded the dance
anymore.
We've degraded the art of the dance. I actually
agree with this.
Here's the counter side to this also, though. When did you learn all these? Did you in 5th grade have to learn like ballroom dances? Because I think there was like a 5th grade unit in gym class where we had to learn some dances.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. But I went to like a fucking STEM
some places
school.
Still teach like, especially like in the South. I think some places they still teach like square dancing and like traditional like folk type stuff.
So when would you have learned the dances in this like?
So, okay, in this society, if you were, like, being raised, like, in a rich home, like, that was, like, a part of your tutoring, kind of.
Oh, like, you just gotta, like, when you learn your manners.
There's later in the movie when, when, like, someone's like, oh, did you have a governess? Like, that was, like, part of their job. Like, you would have been learning how to play pianoforte and, I mean, a little bit how to read, but that wasn't the focus. You're a woman. You need to learn to dance, like, how to entertain. I think, like, that was, like, kind of part of, like, if you were, like, in this rich upper class, like, that was just part of your upbringing. Yeah. Which I actually agree, though. This is going to go down a tangent that I wasn't expecting to go down. But, with your point that, like, dance is, like, a social thing. Because I fully believe it is For those of you, I've mentioned it before on the podcast, but like I'm part Greek. I've done like traditional Greek dancing, which is like the most niche hobby possible. But like it's genuinely just like a fun social thing. And like it's used, like I use it to make friends, and like it's a good way to meet people. And like it's just a fun way to hang out with people and do something like in a social setting. And it's like, oh, I love dance in so many forms. We've talked about this before, but like.
Oh, sure.
I think that it can be used in like a very social way. And like, I don't know, moshing is like not.
Here's where I relate to Mr. Darcy. I don't know. Maybe I am self-conscious too much. Give me a couple drinks. I think I can handle it.
You can do a little dance?
I think I can handle it. But like, don't really enjoy dancing. No,
wait,
much.
Here's the thing. When you think about it, we went from
bored.
We went from this to grinding to you got to keep your head up in Pitch Perfect. That's the social dancing of today. Society, everyone.
I guess it's nice that you don't have to. You can dance your own way. You go to the club.
That's
you can dance
true.
your own way.
You don't have to have like specific steps.
I don't know. Maybe this is revealing about me. But someone said to me, they said, "Well, why are you worried about what anybody else is thinking about you at the club?" And maybe this is revealing about my character. But I've gone to the club and I've looked at people and I was like, You look stupid.
No, you can't do that at the club.
You can't. What do you mean? I didn't say that to them, but I was thinking to myself.
No, I
was like, you look. Oh my god. And then, but it's like, if I'm doing that, surely somebody else is doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I
you just can't catch me lacking.
Really
I just can't look at
I feel like
stupid.
someone would have to do something like absolutely insane for me to be like, whoa, they look crazy.
Everybody's got their phones at the club now, always recording.
We've been talking about this for like probably 5 more minutes.
That's fine. That's fine.
It is fine.
We didn't have any good tangents last episode.
I guess to sum it up, bring back balls. Bring back balls 2024.
2025 probably by the time.
Yeah.
Well, like, 2024.
Oh, I guess it's toward the end of 2020.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Whatever. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So the reason why I brought up, she overhears this conversation. She's like, damn, okay, this guy hates me. Because he's like, yeah, she's fine, I guess. But no one here is pretty. Then later on, they meet up and they talk again. I just really like this line because I was like, they're like, oh, what's the food of love? And they're like, poetry. And they're like, she's like, no. I don't remember exactly what the conversation is. And then he's like, oh, well, how do you expect a man to get a woman's attention? She says, dancing, even if one's partner is perfectly tolerable. And at this part, I was like, oh, did you see that?
Yeah,
and Tyson
threw
was
some
like,
words back at him. I was like,
give me 2
falling
seconds
behind
to, like,
a little bit.
You were like, I didn't get it, and then I had to explain to you.
Yeah, I was just, a lot happening.
It was a burn because she overheard him. So
yeah, I know. Like, my brain's been functioning very slow recently.
That's okay. It's also, I feel like a movie like this on a first watch, sometimes it takes your... That's how it feels when you
They're
read
all speaking
a Jane
like
Austen
proper
book
English
for the first time, too. Is like, it just kind of takes a second for your
I guess
brain
that's how it is. Well, okay, this is not a tangent, but like, did people talk like this back, or is it just because they're transcribing the words from the book? You wrote like this, but did people talk?
I mean, I would assume that people talked like this if they wrote like this, right?
Okay, so we've
they
also
didn't talk like us talking right now.
We've degraded speech.
They didn't say lame.
No one just like, they just didn't like banter.
Yeah, but they bantered using their
Did anyone
own
say
vernacular?
I don't know.
But no one in movies says
No, I know, but like, you think people back then said
Probably.
But I guess that would not be representative of an accomplished woman.
Yeah, stuttering.
Back at the you couldn't stutter.
No.
I'm a stuttering fool.
You need a clear speech.
Exactly.
So, okay, the ball ends. Next day, Jane goes to visit Mr. Bingley.
Yes.
But she gets stuck in the rain, so by the time she gets there, she's sick. So she has to spend the night.
That's crazy.
Plan that was concocted by her mother.
Get sick immediately after getting caught in the rain? Is that a thing that happens? That doesn't happen.
Yeah, I feel like if you never like gotten wet before, and then like your parents are like, you gotta dry up, or you're gonna get sick. You're gonna get hypothermia.
No, but like,
really?
It's like a common misconception. The cold does not make you sick. The cold slows down your body, so that makes you more susceptible to disease. But the cold itself is not what gets you sick. And I imagine getting wet is not the same thing.
But she just like gets like a little cold.
Well, how are you getting it?
Which also it's kind of funny because like, what do they say at one point? They're like, oh, she's not going to die from a cold. And I'm like, didn't people die from colds back then?
Isn't this the time when people would have died from the cold?
Absolutely die from colds?
But like, you're not going to get sick immediately from being in the rain. How long was she caught in the rain for?
I think she walked like several miles in the rain.
I don't know. I feel like it doesn't.
I don't know if it was raining the whole time.
I don't know. So she goes there, and then she ends up having to stay there for a bit.
Spend some extra time there. Oh, with Mr. Bingley. Ooh.
Oh, Mr. Bingley.
I just want to say, I think their relationship is very cute.
Does Mr. Darcy live there too, or was he just
Well,
hanging
he's
out?
staying there because that's all rich people did in this time was go and stay at each other's houses.
This is the other thing. I don't know what I would have done to like occupy my time back then.
No,
I don't know what they're doing.
It actually would have been really boring.
He's like, Mr. Darcy's like, I gotta write all these letters. And then is that what you did for your afternoon? Got to write a million letters?
They read and they go on walks.
I guess that's not too different.
And
they didn't look at TikTok.
They play the pianoforte.
Okay, when did we shorten it to just piano?
I don't know if it's the same instrument. It might.
Is it not? Well, how is it different?
I don't know.
How could it possibly be different?
I don't know. I think it's like in a subtle way where it's like
okay,
less keys
whatever.
Or something. But anyway, so Elizabeth the next day shows up to check on her sister.
Yeah.
So she is staying there. I guess we can somewhat fast forward through all this.
Yeah.
There's like a conversation with like some banter between her and Mr. Darcy.
There's planting the seeds
she like clearly does not like him. Like she's like does not want to deal with this man, and he just seems very socially awkward. Like he
hates talking to people.
He hates talking to people.
I don't know when he says
it. It's like when you watch it, you're like, is he like trying to be friendly, or is he just like or is he just obnoxious? Like what's going? Like what is his deal?
I never thought he was obnoxious.
Maybe not obnoxious is the right word, but just like he hates people. Like,
I mean, who doesn't?
I don't know. I don't hate people.
Look, you see me in the street, whatever.
Actually, I hate people sometimes.
It depends.
Ask me on the day. I was kind of in an I hate people mood today. I don't know why I'm acting so positive all of a sudden.
I relate to his inability to want to talk to people.
But I just want to emphasize, at this point in the movie, you still did not like him.
Yeah, okay. I was neutral on him. I did not like him.
Okay, I thought you...
I was just saying yes to whatever you said.
No, there's some point in the movie where you were like, oh, no, I don't like this guy. And then, like, 10 minutes later, you were like...
later.
Okay, I don't remember what it was. But
I remember what it was.
Then later, you were like... No, wait, I love him again. He's awesome. Then Jane gets better and they leave. But when they leave... there's a very, very important... If you're listening, you probably watched this movie. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about. As she gets in the carriage, he holds her hand and she steps in and then she looks at him, and as he's walking away, he flexes his hand. And I was like...
You said to me people got...
one of the greatest parts of the movie, and I had to... I was sitting there, and I was like, I'm gonna have to point this out to Tyson, because he's not gonna...
I wouldn't.
I was like, you wouldn't even remember it.
Is it because it's because he was nervous, right?
It's because he was... Okay, there's a few things. So first of all, like, he was nervous, and like, it's like a bunch of the nerves, and he's like, oh my god, like, I just touched it, like, wow. And then secondly, though, like, in this time, they technically were not supposed to, like, touch. Like, someone should have been wearing gloves. Like, there was not supposed to be, like, skin-to-skin contact.
That's stupid.
There. What do you mean that's stupid?
That's a stupid rule.
Oh, I agree that's a stupid rule, but like that was just like the time.
That's stupid.
It was like this almost like little like scandalous thing, and then like he was like excited, like like energized by it. Anyway, so people really love that because it's like...
You said to me people got tattoos of that hand flex.
I've seen on TikTok.
How do you get a tattoo of the hand? Like, that's a bad tattoo design. It's a terrible tattoo. It's just a hand flexing.
I know I've seen it on TikTok before.
Where does the hand cut off?
Like,
they just get in the hand?
a little past the sleeve.
It's too big of a hand to get. It's like, a terrible tattoo.
It's so romantic. It makes me... I've watched this movie like in a room full of girls before. I mean, I don't know, not full.
And what, they all lost it?
We all like screamed.
Lost their mind.
We like screamed like...
Is he... Okay, we have this conversation a lot.
Uh-huh.
It's a game I like to play. Is he attractive?
You ask me this like every movie.
Is he? Is Mr. Darcy attractive? His hair is not... Like, his hairstyle at this time was not in...
Listen.
Keira Knightley's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. She's Keira Knightley. Listen, this might be a little controversial, actually. I don't think he's that attractive.
Do you find his personality endearing?
I think it's like, as the movie... I mean, I think the movie does its job, because I think as the movie goes on, you get to know him more. I'm like, love, my heart opens up a little to him, though, you know?
Love transcends looks.
And I don't think he's bad looking. I just don't think he's, like, particularly handsome.
He's not like, he's not like model...
Right, exactly. But I don't think he's like bad looking, and I'm not like repulsed by it. Like, I'm like, oh, like I feel like he's the person where I'm like not like initially like, oh, he's hot, but I'm like, oh yeah, like he's a nice guy.
His soul is maybe beautiful.
Yeah.
Let me tell you though, he's got a statue of himself. So I guess we'll get to that, but I guess we'll get to that.
Gonna drop in that little sneak peek for you. But yeah, so that's a really big moment, and genuinely among the most important in the film, whether or not it does anything for the plot.
It's just
it's just a standout moment.
A moment for the girlies.
Standout moment. Yeah, the girlies eat it up.
Okay, when do they go back?
It makes you.
They go to a ball again. When do they do that? That's next, right?
There's a few balls. So now, as we mentioned, there's 5 sisters. Yes. In this society, only a male can inherit a household. There's 5 sisters. So there's
unlucky.
This problem. Part of the reason that they all want to get married off is because they're going to be when their dad dies, they're going to be left for nothing. Like they are going to have nothing left for them. So
okay, let me get this clear. You're saying when the dad dies, what happens to the house that they're currently living in?
It goes to the next male in line. Who that male could decide, like, oh, I'll let them stay there. But if there is no male,
like, what, the bank's gonna, like, repossess their house?
I think there's a way where they would find the next male. Like, in this situation, it's their cousin, Mr. Collins.
Ugh.
If you like this whole inheritance situation, maybe we need to watch Sense and Sensibility, because that's another one with a lot of that going on. But anyway, focusing on Pride and Prejudice, Mr. Collins, short little man.
He is a tiny man.
How would you describe him?
Unpleasant.
Unpleasant. He's not fun.
I just don't like his vibe.
No, me neither.
Not good. He's just a little goblin man.
Like creepy doesn't necessarily. Maybe.
No, he's like.
Maybe it does fit.
Okay. He's like
off-putting.
He's like.
I feel like that's a good way of putting it.
He is Mr. Darcy. If there was nothing endearing about him, he has the same like social awkward like. It's just
But there's like no like charm or intrigue.
It's like I'm talking to the T-1000. It's terrible.
It's like he's the worst.
He picks okay, I guess we'll get to it later.
But he decides
everything about him is terrible. His hair.
Yeah, no, his haircut's like the worst thing, honestly. His haircut's so bad. But anyway, he shows up to the house to like kind of meet the family, but also with like this plan kind of like, oh, like if I marry one of the sisters, then like we can keep it's almost doing like a charity to like keep the money in the family.
Yes.
And, like then we can like help each other. Which I mean, I guess.
But they're also related.
But that was normal at this time.
It's crazy.
Doesn't make it okay, but
I guess cousin is better than like sibling.
I mean, I would agree with that. If we're gonna compare incest, I feel like siblings probably the worst. Actually, no.
Let's not have this conversation.
So Mr. Collins asked the mom after like a really awkward dinner.
He's like, "What's Jane's situation?"
Yeah. And the mom's like, "Oh, like
she's gonna get married.
Jane's probably gonna get engaged really soon, actually. But Elizabeth is totally single.
Why would you do that?
She's ready. Yeah. Why is the mother like getting ready to sell her child off to this horrible man?
If one of them's about to get engaged, then it's not. Then no longer is the threat of imminent death from the father.
Hypothetically, that would help out her, but not the whole family.
Ugh.
Hypothetically, I guess it would depend. But yeah, no, bad stuff. So now he kind of has a plan. It seems.
Yeah.
To spend some time with Elizabeth, get to know her. See if they can get married.
Elizabeth just okay. Then they all go to a ball, right?
Yes. Before they go to a ball, though, there's
what?
We have to add another man into the mix.
Oh, Mr. Wickham.
Mr. Wickham. Yes.
Okay.
So there's
they're just out on the town, and there's a soldier.
Mr. Collins in the town, and then they're out on the town, and there's like a militia coming through. The stupid redcoats.
I hate the British.
I hate those British.
We spilled tea in their harbor.
Those dumb British.
We spilled tea in their harbor.
We were trying to do a bit.
I don't know what this bit is. It's terrible.
I don't know.
It's late. This is a late episode we're recording.
So the militia's going through town.
Yeah.
And there's one soldier in particular that, he's so attractive. And he decides to, he spends some time with the sisters. And him and Elizabeth are talking. And
they buy some hats.
They buy some ribbons.
Oh, ribbons.
Yeah.
Whatever. Same thing.
Him and Elizabeth are talking and they discover that he knows Mr. Darcy. And he tells Elizabeth that him and Mr. Darcy grew up together, and Mr. Darcy's father loved him like a son, and when he died, he left Wickham a lot of money, and Mr. Darcy didn't let him have it, and basically, or no, not even that he left him a lot of money, but I think Mr. Wickham was like, I wanted to be like a priest, and he left me the rectory on their estate or whatever. And Mr. Darcy didn't give it to him. That is Mr. Wickham's story. He tells Elizabeth this. She already doesn't like Mr. Darcy, so now she has even more reason to be like, what a horrible, horrible man. I hate him. He's the worst.
Elizabeth believes anything that she is told. She never wants...
Well, okay.
I guess fair, why would he lie?
To be fair, Pride and Prejudice, she's kind of the prejudice because she already doesn't like him, so she's also looking for any other reason to not like him, just to like be like, this man. I knew he was horrible. I knew I didn't like him for a reason. He's the worst.
Oh no! If only they knew.
If only they knew what we're gonna find out.
Like, of course. Okay, so then they go to the ball.
So now it's another ball.
Okay.
Another ball you've been waiting to get to.
We got to get through so many balls, so I'm just trying to get us.
That's all, dude. All Jane Austen things are just like,
I mean, it's just like a
and they go to each other's houses and they talk. That's.
I mean, like, what else is there in life?
That kind of is all there is to do.
Well, I mean, like, what else is there in our life? Work, home, going out. These are the three things that happen.
I guess you're right. When you boil it down, life really isn't all that different, except the dancing.
Except now it's the club.
It's the club instead of a ball.
Okay, let's get past it. It's making me upset.
The exasperated side.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this ball, first of all, beautiful camera choreography.
Oh yeah, there's like a one take. There's like a oneer.
There's like two, because there's like one at the beginning and one at the end of like that's just like moving
just
through the ball, like so much movement, and it's really nice.
Elizabeth is just ducking out of Mr. Collins.
Yeah, she is trying to ditch him, and he like is like, I want to make it clear, I am trying to spend some time with you tonight. And she's like, great.
Mr. Darcy appears in the background behind her for a second, fucking Michael Myers.
He's doing a Mr. Darcy thing where he's like lurking in the corner.
He's lurking. He's kind of like...
He's got his eye on her, but he's not going to go talk to her.
That's okay. True. Fair. Relatable.
So then at the ball, Mr. Darcy, who openly said he doesn't dance, asks Elizabeth to dance. What?
Oh, he's warming up to her.
Oh my god!
And so they dance for a bit.
She says like, okay, and then she's like, what the hell? Why?
It's because deep down she likes him. So then
I think, what movie? Because we remember having this conversation when we watched the movie.
Oh, I don't know.
We watched another. It was when we watched Sound of Music. When they dance together in Sound of Music, we're like, if anyone's dancing together, they're gonna fall in love. Like
in
that's
a movie,
just movie rules.
Yeah.
But in this movie, not this movie. In this specific part, this is not a fun flirty little dance. This is like an angry dance. Okay, Elizabeth's like, he's like trying to like, I don't know, just like talk to her and be like, hey, like, how are you doing? Like, you know, he's being his awkward self.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't like you. I don't want to talk to you. I know what you did to Mr. Wickham, and frankly, I just think you're a bad person. And he's like, okay, well, you actually don't know what the deal with Mr. Wickham is.
Yeah, well, I mean, exactly. Like, how dare you, like, go up to someone you barely know and are like, oh, yeah, I know what you did to this other person that you also barely knew.
And he's like, I actually would, like to prove you wrong, because I don't think I'm a bad person. And she's like, no, I actually don't want to talk to you. So then they dance in silence for the rest of the time. Dancing,
which is just walking in circles.
It is just kind of walking in circles.
Nobody else is talking with their partners in this dance, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that. Which I guess for the sake of the movie, yeah. But not even their lips are moving. They're just like staring at each other intently. Anyway.
So that happened. That's basically just to put us in where the relationship is at right now. Not good. Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth, no, she does not like him. He's basically been totally shut down.
Oh, you know what? Here on the Wikipedia page for the plot summary, Elizabeth, blinded by her prejudice towards Mr. Darcy, believes him.
Wow.
So she really is the prejudice.
Yeah.
And he really is the pride.
I think you asked at some point, where's the prejudice? I was like, it's Elizabeth, because she was very prejudiced against Mr. Darcy.
I was thinking more prejudiced in like a less cool sense. Like prejudice to, I don't know, like groups of people, types of people.
This was written in the 1800s. It's not that type of prejudice. So then the next day, family's eating breakfast, and Mr. Collins is like, I would like to talk to Elizabeth alone.
Okay, so it happens. And then she's like, no.
A horrible proposal, and she's like, no. And
when does he bring that tiny little fucking flower?
Oh, this is the part. Like a little, like not like
the
a
most
real flower.
Pathetic little
like
flower.
a flower that like you would have picked in like a yard as a child.
Like a weed.
Like actually a weed.
Like a weed.
Yeah, that's essentially what he hands her. And then he proposes, and she's like, no. This is the modern day equivalent of this conversation. She says no, and he's like, you know, you're just playing hard to get. Like, I see what you're doing, and you're only making me want you more. So, like, I know you're actually saying yes. And she's like, no, I am saying no to you. Leave me alone. And he's like, I know, like, you're saying no right now, but like,
I think I hear
you actually
yes.
mean yes. And
you're just making me work for it.
Like, this is why I just think so many Jane Austen things, like things that happen in these books, like even though they take place in the 1800s, translate so well to today. Because I'm like, that shit still happens. There's still guys that are like, oh, you're playing hard to get. And it's like, no, No. I said no.
Yeah.
Like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Go away. So I think that's funny. Until he does get the message eventually. And
like after way too fucking long.
Too many times of her being like,
and so he leaves.
Let me make myself very clear. I am not going to marry you.
Then the other girls behind the door are laughing at him. They're
her sisters are all eavesdropping. I feel like this is kind of an important point to make. Just going back a teeny bit. At the ball, we mentioned Elizabeth has a friend named Charlotte. We mentioned her a little bit earlier. She makes a comment to Elizabeth that's like, hey, like, Jane and Bingley, they've been hanging out, a lot of things going well. And Elizabeth is like, yeah, they're definitely going to get proposed soon. And who's
yes.
Charlotte's like, okay, well, like, he seems really into her, but, like, does she like him? And Elizabeth's like, yeah, she's just shy. She's just shy, but, like, she really, really likes him. I never like, okay, well, like, you might want to, like, let her know, like, she needs to, like,
I never once got the impression that she wasn't reciprocating.
I also did not. Like, they seemed really cute the whole time to me. Yeah. But there's a really cute moment, actually, in the ball where, like, she's walking through and then he's walking behind her and he's, like, just, like, barely holding onto her dress. It's really cute. It's like, he's like a little puppy dog following her.
Yeah, all right.
It's cute.
I'm focused.
I said I was going to swoon. I said I was going to yearn. I was going to pine. So
I'm focused entirely on Mr. Darcy during that sequence, just kind of creeping behind her.
Just being like a creep lurking in the corner the whole time.
And he's like dressed all in dark. He's like fucking Dracula. He's like,
so, anyway, after Elizabeth turns down Mr. Collins, you know who doesn't turn down Mr. Collins?
Mr. Collins this dog. This dog. He went from Jane to Elizabeth to whoever this next girl is.
Charlotte,
to Charlotte.
Friend. And there's a really great speech where she's like, I'm 26.
My life is over.
Like, I'm already a burden to my parents. Like, basically, also, we should point out, we mentioned that that Elizabeth's mom is, like, very, like, gossipy. This whole movie, she's been shitting on poor Charlotte. She's like, oh, what a shame she's not prettier. Like,
yeah. She's not very handsome, is she?
Oh, she's so plain. Like... Oh, God. Like, anyway, so Charlotte's, like, basically, like...
And she's like, I'm plain. I don't have many options.
Literally. She's like, you're pretty and, like, you're gonna be fine. Like, I'm not, okay? I need to lock down a man while I have the option. She doesn't want to become a spinster.
God forbid. No,
because there are moments when I get a ball where I'm like, wow, I wish I lived in this time. And then I watch this part and I'm like, I do not want to live in this time.
You couldn't get a job.
No, your options were...
I guess you could become become an author. I mean, Jane Austen became an author.
Yeah, and it was...
Was that, like, sacrilege?
It wasn't sacrilege, but it was, like, a kind of a
I kind of know nothing about Jane Austen.
Somewhat controversial. I know some about her. I took a Jane Austen
I couldn't get into it.
I loved that class.
I wish I could have taken it. No, you know what? There was...
I don't know if it was sacrilege, but she was definitely pressured to get married from her family, and she never did, but...
I'll tell you this story. Quick little story.
Okay.
There was a Jane Austen... I was signed up for the Jane Austen class during the summer once.
Oh, okay.
But they said, at the end of the summer course, you have to attend the 4-day Jane Austen festival on UNC's campus.
Every day? Or could you just, like, show up
No, it was like you had to engage in all the activities. There's movie screenings. People cosplay as the characters. I was like, I can't do that. I was like, no. Did you know UNC hosts that, like, yearly?
I knew that they had some
like sort of Jane Austen like, extravaganza?
I knew that they had something. I didn't know UNC hosted it every year. I knew it was in North Carolina.
Maybe they just hosted it that year.
I think it's somewhere nearby.
But it was on campus. I think it was at the fucking Carolina Inn.
It might have been. That honestly.
That's a very Jane Austen coded place.
I really like Jane Austen. I'm trying to decide if that's too far. I don't know if I can.
No, don't go back. You missed it. You missed your chance.
Well, I missed what?
Going to the event.
Oh no! I mean, I didn't. I don't think I feel like I had heard about it before, but like I didn't know like anything. Anyway,
yeah. So I don't know anything about Jane Austen because they wouldn't let me into the class.
Because you would.
And the one time I had the option.
That's kind of crazy. They would make you go to the whole 4-day thing though, not just like check this out.
Well, no, because they were just. I mean, I don't know. That's what it's like during the summer. They were like, tickets. You got nothing else to do. But I did have other things to do.
I took a Jane Austen class, and before that class, I had read several of her books, and then through that class, I read the rest of them that I hadn't read. And I watched a lot of movie adaptations, which was really fun.
Did you read this book? Mm-hmm. Did the movie leave anything out, like any interesting things out?
Nothing major.
Just like
I will say, I don't remember super well. Yeah.
So nothing crucial.
Nothing crucial. No.
Not like a character or like a subplot or anything.
No, I think the book does like kind of talk about like Mr. Darcy's feelings throughout, so like you have a better idea of like
what
he really likes her. Yeah. Versus like in the movie, like that's why I think moments like the hand flex work really well, because obviously it's a movie, so you're not getting those inner thoughts.
He did.
So
I didn't fully understand where his love for her came from.
Right.
They don't really like do anything or hang out really.
Well, that's a little more product of the time, but
okay, where were we in the story?
Oh, so yeah, she rejects Mr. Collins, so then Charlotte decides to get married to him.
Yeah, so they get married.
And then, okay, so this is where, okay, when you look at this, both as a book and as a movie, kind of, the first half, kind of a rom-com. There's some silly stuff happening. Mr. Collins, although a horrible man, kind of a silly little character. Mr. Darcy's really easy to laugh at, because you're like, what is this man's deal? What is going on here? Everybody's like flirting and giggling and having a good time. And then I feel like halfway through, it becomes a much more like serious, like sweeping, dramatic romance.
I don't know. I mean, don't rom-coms do that? Like dramedies, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I feel like a lot of rom-coms have a more
stay
similar,
sillier.
Stay silly.
Well, you know,
thing. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days was pretty silly throughout the whole movie.
Well, if you root this back to Shakespeare, right? You know, love stories. Okay, look,
we took a Shakespeare.
They're
class
lighthearted.
together.
Well, you see, it's the roots of narrative. I've discovered that all plots are kind of like repeated throughout time.
Wow, you're the first person to ever notice that.
No, there's plenty of books on the subject, but I'm just saying, like, the lineage of storytelling, you go from a Shakespeare love story to this. I mean, it's a mixture of drama and lighthearted comedy.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. I was just saying that it doesn't surprise me that it gets serious.
Lost me a little bit. Yeah, no, I think that maybe it's because the book too in this one, but like really like it's like. Maybe it is more the book than the movie. I don't know. I just kind of associate them together, I guess. But like halfway through it, it's like a very like major tonal shift.
Oh my god, we're almost an hour in.
But oh my god,
we gotta get through Pride and Prejudice. It's a long movie. Well, it's like a decently long movie.
Okay, so Charlotte's getting married to Mr. Collins and going away. Mr. Bingley suddenly
just
decides
like
to
leaves
leave
the country.
He sends Jane a letter and he's like, I'm going
Sorry,
to London.
I gotta go.
And Jane's like
what happened?
I'm fine. Everything's like, I'm fine. Like, no, like, no, I'm like, she's like definitely not fine.
Yeah.
So she also, she goes with her aunt and uncle somewhere or something. I don't know. She goes to visit them in London.
Yeah.
Then Elizabeth, a few months later, she goes to visit Charlotte and Mr. Collins in their place. They go and visit his like he's a priest, and so he is like under the
who's this?
Mr. Collins.
Mr. Collins is a priest?
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you miss that?
No, I don't remember that.
He's a priest. But anyway, he is like I don't know what the correct term is here.
For what?
The patronage of Lady Catherine.
I don't know. I don't even know what this is. I'm gonna be so real with you.
It's Judi Dench when she's in the movie. And she like looks like she's a big wig on. What are you?
Oh wait, the mean woman?
Yes.
Oh,
she's
the really mean woman.
So they go to her. She's
yes, and then
I don't
they're
know.
like,
she's like a duchess or something.
And she's like constantly just like ridiculing. She's like, oh
really
my heavens, you're really.
They go to her castle basically, and guess who's there? Mr. Darcy. So Elizabeth's like, this man again. Like, I swear to God, like I cannot. Why is he here? So they're there. Lady Catherine's very like she sees Elizabeth as a low class piece of shit. Okay,
Damn.
She's like, you don't play a piano? Do you draw? Do you speak other languages? Like, what do you do? Who was your governess? What do you mean you didn't have a governess? That is unruly.
And she's like, go play the piano for me. And she's like, no, I'm not good. And she's like, go play the piano for me.
And Elizabeth's like, I'm not trying to be modest. Like, I'm really bad. And she's like, go play. I don't care.
She plays better than I play.
So then Mr. Darcy's there. Also, Mr. Darcy has a friend that's there. She's talking to him. And the friend is like, he speaks very highly of Darcy. He's like, oh, Darcy's one of my best friends. I love him. He's great. And she's like, oh, like, I've had my situations with him. Whatever. I don't care. And he mentions, oh, like, no, he's a good man. Like, recently, he talked his friend out of a really bad, like, love interest situation. And Elizabeth is like, wait a damn minute.
No, okay, this is when I was like, oh, Mr. Darcy's not great.
Oh, is this what
this is the moment I was like, why would he do that?
When she found out, like, and so she's like,
the Mr. Wickham shit.
Do you happen to know who his friend was? And he's like, oh yeah, I think his name was Mr. Bingley. And Elizabeth was like,
what?
Oh my God. So he talked Mr. Bingley out of like not being with my sister because in the guy quoted, he was like, yeah, apparently like her family was like bad.
Which was a concern.
Was like, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Was this the part where you were like, whoa, why did he do that?
Yeah, no, I was just confused. I was like, why would he
had started to win you over a little bit.
Yeah, because he was like, it's just a shitty thing to do. Yeah. It's like none of your fucking business. I don't know. Like, I would never try to like interfere with a parent. Listen, I'm not going to name names. But but I'm just saying, my friends, I've known people in my life who have dated people I was like, no, please do not end up with this person. Them? No, because it's not my deal.
I feel like it's the type of thing where personally,
it's just so shitty
to try to keep my mouth shut until somebody if somebody was like, what do you think?
Oh,
I'd be like, listen.
I'll talk. I'm a terrible person. I was like, I'll talk behind somebody's back all fucking day long. But I'm saying like,
you're not gonna tell them to their face.
It's so shitty to like talk to like, your friend and be like, hey, the person you're dating, bad. Because I don't know, like, what if they might genuinely like him? Who are we to say?
I don't think it is if
depends on the reason.
Yeah.
Depends on the reason.
If it's just like they're annoying, like that's not that. No.
Yeah, they're annoying to you.
If it's like
somebody's got to love them.
Do you think his reason was good enough? Where he's like, I think that if you marry this girl, you're going to be attaching yourself to a very questionable family.
I think that. I mean, I guess I don't know the societal norms at the time. Bad reason.
Okay, interesting. So then the next day, Darcy just shows up to. I just love this part. He just shows up to the house that she's staying at. And he just, like, stands in her room, and she's like, do you want tea? And he's like, no. She's like, okay. Why are you here? And then he's like, I gotta go by.
Yeah.
She's like, all right. That was weird.
He's sweating bullets. He was, like, so nervous.
Once again, just being so awkward. I just think that part, even though I said we left the rom-com behind, that part's really funny. Because it's like, why did he do that?
It's not played for laughs, though.
No, it's just...
He's just weird.
So then they run into him again. Really dramatically. I forget exactly how they end up where they end up, but
they're at a gazebo.
The rain, and they're in a gazebo, and it's so dramatic.
Or like some kind of like structure.
Swelling and like, the drama.
And he's like, I love you.
And he's like, I love you.
We gotta hash it out, Joe.
We haven't gotten to Little Women yet.
I know.
Don't worry, that's coming. Probably
maybe
sometime
at some
soon.
point.
At some point. It's not in the near future. I don't want to give any promises I can't keep. But he's basically like, I love you, and your family poor,
sucks,
and they're really like not classy, and honestly, it's really against my better judgment to like you, but I do. So will you marry me? And she's like, no. What? Like, what are you talking about? Like,
but then they almost kiss anyway.
Yeah, no, it's crazy
even
that,
though you can't do that.
How steamy it is, even though nothing actually happened. But yeah, and she's like, well, no, because you just listed all these reasons not to marry
What's
me.
up with Mr. Bingley?
Hard. Also, you told Mr. Bingley not to marry my sister, and he's like, okay, well, like that's not exactly what happened, but like,
and don't get me started on Mr. Wickham.
No, literally, and she's like, you screwed over 2 people in my life that I like.
Mr. Wickham is not in your fucking life.
Also, yeah, no, he's not. I think they kind of set him up to be a potential love interest, but he's never like
he's not
like ever super seriously for Elizabeth, at least. Like, it's not like actually a thing. So yeah, it's basically where this whole thing where he's like, but like, wait, but I love you and like I want to marry you, and she's like, no, leave me alone, go away. I literally never want to speak to you again. Like, I hate you. Like, she's like, I don't even just like not want to marry you. I don't want to see you ever again. Like, I hate you. Go away. So he does. To be fair, once again, I know we grow to love Mr. Darcy, but like, what was with that marriage proposal? He like insults her 4 times before he's like, okay, will you marry me?
Look, I'm not saying I agree. I'm just gonna play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Doesn't it mean that your love is so strong? There are all these things going against it. Your family sucks, whatever. You're poor, but I love you anyway.
Tell her those things.
No, you can't say that.
Especially during the proposal.
Crazy proposal.
So then after that, he leaves her a letter.
And then he rides off on horseback.
Yeah, he rides off. It's really dramatic once again. He leaves her a letter basically explaining, like...
He's like, hey, okay, Mr. Wickham's like, actually a jackass.
There's some misunderstandings going on here. Mr. Wickham actually like tried to marry my 15-year-old sister to get more money. And then when he found out that he wouldn't get money, he just like left her. Like, so bad thing number one. Number two, he's like, I genuinely was trying to make a good decision or be helpful to a friend with Mr. Bingley. He was like, your sister, she did not seem to feel as strongly as he did, which I guess the whole point that they were trying to make earlier was like open, like at least like openly, like publicly, like it seemed like he was way more into her than she was.
I just never got that sense.
And he's like, your sisters are boy crazy and they go about society acting a fool. Your mother gossips all the time and your dad just seems absent.
Listen. He's spitting, though.
No.
He's not wrong.
The thing is, he's right, and she reads this letter, and in the letter, he says it much more eloquently than he did in the proposal.
I mean, look, maybe I didn't say, maybe I word saladed it during the proposal.
Also, in the letter, he kind of apologized. He's like, if I was wrong about her, like, I'm sorry, but, like, I did this, like, in a genuine way to, like, help my friend, because I care about my friend, and I didn't want him to make a mistake.
It's almost like he's kind of prejudiced as well in some ways.
Wow.
And she's also kind of prideful.
Yeah.
Both.
That's the thing is that usually it's seen as he's pride and she's prejudiced, but really they're
both pride and they're both prejudice.
Yep. They go home. She talks to Jane. Blah blah blah. She goes on another trip because that's all that people do is they go on trips with people. She goes on a trip with some people, and then they end up at Darcy's house. And
yes. And apparently at this time you could just like visit rich people's houses. Like that was like
it was like guest hours where they could just walk around. Let me just say, okay, at this point she's had some time to reflect on the situation, reflect on the letter, his explanation, and she's kind of like come to realize like, oh, maybe I was wrong about a few things. Maybe he's really not that bad. This sounds like maybe he might have been right actually. Yeah. Like Wickham sounds like a pretty bad dude.
And now you fucked up.
I love my family, but he made some really good points about them.
Look, I'm just saying from an outsider's glance. Look, I don't like her family either.
Yeah, they're a lot.
And I got to know them throughout the movie. And let me tell you, did not like what I found.
Not great. So she shows up to his house in this place. This is like a castle.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. If I was her, I'd have been like,
the Sistine Chapel.
I would have been like, I done messed up because I could have lived here.
I could have had
this could have been my home.
I could have had an ivory statue of myself.
No, yeah, because she goes. There's a little statue hall. And there's a statue.
And there's like a bust of Mr. Darcy.
And she is like, I just personally would have been like, wow, like I missed out on a money opportunity here. Maybe that's bad that I'm like, I don't know. Would have been like, wow, it would have been nice to have essentially a castle to live in.
Would have been nice.
This is pretty great.
It's
huge sprawling estate. But anyway,
but guess who's there?
Yeah, she thinks he's not home, but guess who she runs into?
Mr. Darcy.
Oh no! And then they have she becomes awkward actually because she's like, I'm so sorry. I didn't think you were home.
And he's like, well,
I would have never come.
And he's like, well, I can take you. And she's like, I'd rather walk. And she's like, yes, I know. It's like, because he knows her so well.
I like that you picked up on that because I love it. It makes me giggle.
No, because
he's so earnest about it. She's like, I like walking. And
he's like, yes, I do know that.
Yes, I know.
I know that about you.
Okay. I really like that part.
Oh, we're yearning. We're longing.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm yearning a little bit. I'm swooning a little bit. She's like, I'm road tripping with my aunt and uncle. We're just staying nearby. We're only here for like a day. Like, I did not mean to intrude. He's like, it's okay. He actually invites them to dinner that night.
Yeah.
She meets his sister that he's talked about so often. And his sister is like, oh, Mr. Darcy tells me like how good you are at playing the piano. I really like that too, because it's like, oh, she played terribly, and he knows that. He was there when she played terribly earlier, but he only talks good about her.
he's swooning over her.
A little bit. I'm swooning a little bit.
But also, like, I don't think anybody. Actually, no, never mind. I was gonna say I don't think I'd say that anyone played like super shitty to anybody else. But yeah, I would. If somebody played really terribly, I'd be like,
bad. She was really.
I don't think she was that bad. I mean, I guess for the time, a woman was expected to play the pianoforte better.
Yeah,
the pianoforte.
But yeah, I think that part's really cute. It's like she's opening up to him. He's smiling. What?
Oh man!
Whoa! He smiles for the first. Like
he looks like he doesn't want to kill himself.
I think it's a purposeful decision.
Of course.
Like the second half of the movie, they make him much brighter.
Of course. It's a movie.
Yeah, no,
every decision was intentional.
That's true when you put it like that. But like I just like I like the they kind of brighten him up as you get to as we as an audience, as Elizabeth opens up more to him, so do we, because he becomes just like a more open and lighter character than he was in the first half. He doesn't want to kill himself now. He's like a little like we're like, oh, he's like actually a good guy. He's just a little awkward. So then things seem to be going well. Elizabeth's kind of like, wait, maybe I like him. Like things are going well here, but then she gets a letter from home.
Oh no. Disastrous.
Lydia, her younger sister, has ran away
off
with
Mr. Wickham.
Oh no!
And apparently this is bad because they're not married.
They're not married.
To be clear, the parents do not care that they ran off.
She is 15 years old, and she's running off with this grown man, and they are not married.
And the parents are upset about the marriage part, not the fact that they ran off.
They're more worried because if like this gets out and they don't get married, then their family name is basically ruined. Like they are going to be a disgrace, an embarrassment. The other sisters will forever be scorned, never be able to recover. So it's this terrible, terrible thing. I think they're also worried about where is Lydia? Is she okay? What is she doing? What's going on?
And she is
She's
fine.
Probably fine.
So
there's like this big panic.
Mr. Darcy goes
out
looking for him, or looking for Lydia and Mr. Wickham.
Yes.
And he finds them.
Well, we don't know this.
Okay, yeah.
So Elizabeth goes home.
Yes.
To be with her family, and they finally get the news that Lydia's been found, and she and Mr. Wickham have been married. So everything's gonna be okay. It's still it's still a bit scandalous.
Yeah.
The way things all shook out.
Yeah, but they're married now, so it could be worse.
They're married.
They're married.
The 15-year-old's been married off, so everything's fine. They can recover from this. So Lydia comes with her new husband, Mr. Wickham, and they're all eating, and Lydia's like, oh, like, yeah, like Mr. Darcy found us. And Elizabeth's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? And Lydia's like, oh, yeah, like, he paid for our wedding. Like, we have everything to thank for him. Because also, I guess they get a letter. So the dad gets a letter being like, oh, in order to marry Lydia, like, he only has to pay, like, a very small amount every year. And he makes a joke where he's like, no one would marry Lydia for this little money.
Yeah, for like, what is it, $100?
A year or something. Yeah. So
I don't understand how that works. Like what? So they pay to be married? Like I don't.
I mean, like they have like this situation I think was weird, but like generally like women would have a dowry. Like when you get married.
I don't know what a dowry is.
Yeah, that's okay. Basically,
do we still do this?
There's what?
Do we still do this?
No,
okay.
We don't still do this. There's a certain amount of money set aside when like there's a girl for her to give her husband when they get married. You know, because her losing all autonomy and everything that she owns to him isn't enough. There is a certain, basically, like, oh, if you marry my daughter, you also get this much money.
Oh, okay. That seems wrong. That seems like that shouldn't be the way that things are.
So there was a lot of
oh, we should still do that. I'm kidding. I'm saying because you get married, get some money.
I would say, so there was a lot of getting married for, like, there was, like, high-class women were sought after partly because they had big dowries. So you'd get a big paycheck if you married them.
Well, I mean, listen, we still got gold diggers, right?
Yeah.
Take my money.
There's not dowries anymore, but I guess it exists in its own way.
People are always going after that cash, that coin.
Anyway, I guess Lydia's dowries is very small. But anyway, so Elizabeth, as she hears this, she's like, it's clicking in her head. She's like, oh my God, like Mr. Darcy did this for me, essentially. Like he saved my sister and my entire family name.
And that's not all he did.
How romantic.
Because guess who comes back?
Mr. Bingley.
Mr. Bingley. And he's like, yo, I don't know what I was thinking. I miss you, girl. I need you back in my life.
He gets the guitar. I love you, bitch. I ain't never gonna stop loving you, bitch.
And then she's like, yes, 1,000 times yes.
And she finally like breaks down and she like shows some of it.
Is that what that thing is from? Like 1,000 times yes? Is that from this book? Because I feel like that's like, I don't know. Like I've heard like yes 1,000 times yes before.
If it is, I did not realize that.
Okay.
Maybe.
Pointless digression.
But anyway, so yeah, he brings Mr. Bingley back. So he has now solved the two biggest problems that Elizabeth had with him.
Oh, man.
And he's proven himself to be like, I think we didn't really touch on this earlier, but like earlier in this story when she kind of is like, why, like you don't talk to people at parties, you stand in a corner, you don't dance. And he basically says like, I'm not good at talking to people. Like, he basically says that, where he's like, I'm not as comfortable as you are at, like, making friends and being in a room full of people I don't know and talking to people. So I feel like she's gotten to know him at this point where she, like, all her problems with him
just shy.
Are gone. He's won her over.
Of course.
She's like, yeah. I mean, I feel like, you know, paying off a big amount of money to save your entire family name, that's a pretty big gesture, you know?
True.
Getting your sister engaged to the love of her life.
Maybe he should, I don't know, donate to a charity or something. I don't know. Well, you got all that money he's not giving back.
In a way, like, that was...
He should be stopping world hunger.
Wow, yeah, he's not doing enough.
He's not doing enough.
Men these days think it's enough to save your family name. No.
I don't give a fuck about the family name.
What are you doing to stop world hunger, Tyson?
How about this? When we start making money from this podcast... We'll donate a large sum in my name, only my name.
I was like gonna be like, I'm gonna feel like a really terrible person.
No, I'm not gonna say a specific amount.
Some of the money, at first.
Let's
we're not rich.
We'll make some kind. Well, listen, I don't think we're ever gonna make money from this podcast.
Probably not.
I don't think we'd ever. If we made any money, it would be pennies, and it would just go towards the podcast. So I can't imagine there'd ever be enough that would actually stop world hunger.
We can dream.
It's a nice thought.
It's a nice thought. It is a nice thought. So now Jane's engaged. Lydia's been married. Who's up next? It's our girl Elizabeth's turn. So, actually, before Elizabeth gets engaged, remember Lady Catherine?
Oh yeah, she comes back to the house and she's like,
early in the movie, just like loved to like shit on Elizabeth and be like, "You're bored and unclassy."
She's like, "I heard some rumors that you were going to date my what is it, son?
Nephew?
My nephew? Is this true?" And she's like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking." Yeah, you should tell me. Answer my riddles 3. And
she's so pissed off. And Elizabeth's like, she's like, "I am not engaged to him," and she's like, "Great, and you won't be, right?" And she's like, "No, I'm not going to promise that."
Because your whole family are a bunch of slobs and a bunch of pigs, and I hate them all. You should be in the gutter, you woman. It's like, dude, chill the fuck out. I don't know. Sorry, that's my impression of her.
That was really funny. Okay. No, I'm entertained. That was great. That's basically what happened.
I do know. Remember what I said? I was like, I just want to, like, listen. I just wanted to, like, I just, like, was so mad at her.
Strangle her.
She was
the worst.
She is the worst.
She's
like, this marriage has been arranged since they were babies.
Oh, yeah, I guess her daughter is, like, supposedly engaged to her. She's like, my daughter's engaged to him.
But what about love?
Elizabeth's like, no, he's not.
But what about love?
She's like, well, if he's engaged to him, then why are you even worried about him proposing to me? And she's like, I just wanted to make sure. Elizabeth's like, okay, it shouldn't be a problem then. Like, and she's like, promise me that you're not going to marry him. And Elizabeth's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Sorry.
But then eventually,
get out of my house.
But then eventually she's like, why would he propose to me?
Yeah. She's like, you've insulted me so much. Get out of my house. Like, leave. So then she does.
And then her response to that is like, I've never been treated like this in my life.
Yeah. And then the whole family is eavesdropping outside the door because that's just what they do. And they're all like, what the hell is going on?
Class commentary.
They're all like, Elizabeth. And she's like, don't talk to me. Leave me alone. For once in
my
life.
Not your business.
Leave me alone. But they're all like, what's happening?
No, I would like, if this was like.
Yeah, no, I feel like if I was in that family, I'd be like, no. I'd be
I feel like it's fair to be like, what?
I'd be like, why was this really rich lady in our house yelling at you about marrying the guy that you hate? Like, what the hell is going on? But anyway, the next morning, Elizabeth, it's in the morning.
She goes out.
The sun is rising. Dew is on the grass. And who comes across the field with a billowing cloak and
looks like a Jedi.
Yeah, he really does. That is like, that's kind of the look
open
of it.
V-neck.
Open V-neck, white billowy shirt, and his big boots and like high-waisted pants. Oh my God, it's Mr. Darcy. He looks majestic.
He looks like he's from The Princess Bride.
I love The Princess Bride.
I haven't actually seen The Princess Bride.
I think I have that on my potential episode
Okay, great.
list, but oh my God, yeah. What an image. Like the way when I took the Jane Austen class, when we watched this movie for the class, my professor, who was like this like really sweet old man, he said that he felt like this movie was engineered to make teenage girls swoon. And you know what? This scene does it. If you haven't swooned at any other point in this movie, the sun is like, it's purple and like rising in the background, and he's like,
it's quite nice.
It's like blowing, like his cape is like billowing behind him. Oh,
and they profess their love for each
the
other.
Romanticism of it all.
They profess their love for each other, and they get married. And they don't kiss, but they butt their foreheads together as the sun rises.
You're skipping over.
Am I skipping over something? Am I skipping over another hand flex?
You have bewitched me, body and soul. Oh my god! Like that is a line. Why don't people say that type of shit anymore?
I'm gonna
make me swoon, make me yearn.
I'm gonna load that, and hopefully I'm gonna get some boyfriend points.
Well, they're gonna be like, that's Pride and Prejudice.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
I do not know.
Like, just
if they're
poetry.
familiar.
And then he's like, I love you. He's like, if you still feel the same way that you did the last time I proposed, let me know, and I'm gonna stop talking. And then she just kind of like looks at him, and he's like, okay, but like if you don't,
then maybe
I'd still like to get married. And she's like, yay. So they get married.
She gets her, the dad gives his consent.
Yes. He's like, I'm really confused. I thought you hated this guy. And she's like, oh, I did, but I was so wrong. Like, he's great. I actually love him.
And he's like, okay.
And Dad's like, cool. All right. Yeah, you can get married.
And he does some giggling himself.
He does giggle.
He's like, oh, love.
He's like, wow. I, like, in the past
he's
week,
like, I don't love my wife.
3 daughters married. And then they get married, and they have...
And then they talk about...
There's a cute little thing where...
She takes his last name.
Well, yeah.
Not very feminist to her. And...
Not like it was an option at that point in time, but... There's a whole cute little dialogue where he's like, should I call you Mrs. Darcy? And she's like, no, only call me Mrs. Darcy when you're perfectly happy. Then he gives her kisses and calls her Mrs. Darcy. And it's like, wow.
And then the movie's over.
God, that's so cute.
They end up together all happy.
I love them.
And now if they were real people, they'd be dead now. Because this was from the 1800s.
Yeah, they would have been dead a long time ago.
But you know who also is dead then? Mr. Collins. So everything's okay. Woo! So it's all right, so that was Pride and Prejudice.
That was Pride and Prejudice. Any final takeaways?
No, but it won me over. You know?
I'm so glad.
Listen, it's a classical story. Of course, it was going to win. It's great storytelling.
It is. It's a good movie. It genuinely is.
I love Mr. Darcy.
Movie.
I love Mr. Darcy.
I think halfway through, I was like, you were like, I'm just like Mr. Darcy, and I was like, yeah, you're socially awkward, and you like Keira Knightley. That's all there is to it.
Great.
Which who doesn't like Keira Knightley? I like Keira Knightley. Hope everyone got to swoon and yearn a little bit.
We did all those things.
I know. I
hope people were yearning for the podcast.
I mean, you heard me. I was giggling over several parts, being like, Mr. Darcy.
Did you hear the thing I said where I said I hope people were yearning for our podcast?
Yes.
You think people did that? No one does that.
I think people every week just spend their week being like, oh, like waiting for Sunday to come, just yearning so they can
longing,
waiting, pining for the newest Shut Up and Watch the Movie podcast.
I gotta think about what we're gonna title this episode.
Yearn with us.
Yearn with us. I don't know. I feel
Something about yearning.
Here's the thing. I think I actually have to I can't do episode titles that don't have the name of the movie in the title because I think people might want to go back and like find a movie that they
Pride and Prejudice and Tyson and Christina.
No, because that sounds like
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
No, we can't do that.
I think my takeaway is that men in our society don't yearn enough nowadays. And that's the problem.
We yearn in
private.
Bring
back balls and bring back yearning.
There was like a candle flame and she was looking at it and you were like, that's some A-class yearning right there. Yeah. That's like top tier.
That's some good stuff.
Okay. But enough of yearning. Let's, we've done it. We fulfilled our heart and souls.
Never yearn too much.
Christina, I have a movie we're going to watch next week.
Okay.
I think this will be a popular pick. A little preface this by saying, my episodes don't do good. This is historical on this podcast.
Keep saying this.
My episodes do terribly compared to Christina's episodes. And I figured it's about time I picked just like a popular, well-known movie. A movie I've been meaning to rewatch. And so this podcast is just giving me an excuse to rewatch it.
Okay.
And I think you've seen it, but I don't know the last time you've seen it.
Okay.
But I guess it's too late now anyway. So, we're going to watch Inception.
Oh, okay.
Oh, just a good movie.
Yeah.
Just a good movie.
I like Inception.
Dream antics.
I have seen it. It's been, honestly, it has been a really long time.
I just need a win.
A movie that I would love to revisit.
I need a win.
I love Inception.
This podcast is just a series of me getting beaten down by the waves of you and the listeners.
The last two, at least, you picked movies that you intentionally were like, this is going to piss you off.
And we've had great discussions. Yes.
At what cost?
It's either we argue about the movie or we go on tangents during the movie. These are the two options.
These are the two options. I have seen Inception.
Do you remember anything? Do you remember much about it?
I remember I loved it. I remember
liking it too. I watched it on my iPad in like 2013.
I would say I think I watched it in high school when I was like first like kind of like actually getting into film, like beyond just being like I like movies, like actually getting into it. And I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like,
exactly.
At that point in time. And I look back at it fondly because I really loved it, but I have not seen it, I think, since high school. So it's been a minute.
This is Christopher Nolan. Oh, I guess he's had this. I don't know if you consider him at the peak of his career now, but this was like when he was really popular.
I, for a long time, have considered this my favorite Christopher Nolan movie.
Damn, maybe I shouldn't have picked this. I guess it's done now.
It'll be a good discussion.
Hopefully.
It'll be fun.
We're gonna
have to lock in when we watch this, though. I feel like this is like one of those movies where like if you...
I don't think it's confusing.
No, I don't think it's confusing, but I think it's just like it's the type of movie where like if you look away for
no, I mean
2
you got to
minutes,
watch it.
Then like you
gotta like
get
fully
lost.
watch it. You
need to be like watching.
You know,
the movie.
they like classify, like producers and stuff classify certain movies now as like second screen entertainment, where it's like
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's like dystopian. It's like
it is a little bit, but at the same time, like I mean, they're guilty of
they're not wrong. It's the terrible part.
Yeah, I know.
If you get
that's terrible.
Our attention spans.
I just can't imagine like.
Well, no phones for Inception. We're gonna lock in.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, Inception, not a second screen experience. You need to be locked in.
Hopefully, this will be. My episodes are always historically way shorter. Also, this episode 120 minutes right now.
Okay. Well, it'll be cut down in the final cut.
Like maybe by like 5 minutes, maybe.
Okay, I can live with that.
We can live with that. Anyway, so stay tuned for that. We're gonna. I don't know. I was trying to think of something clever to say there. I got nothing.
I think it will be fun.
I think it'll be fun.
I've
been meaning to rewatch it.
Fun time.
It's the most popular on my letterboxd watch list. It is the most popular movie on the watch list.
Do you have movies that you've already watched in your watch list?
Only if I haven't seen them since I started logging stuff on Letterboxd.
Interesting. I only have movies I've never seen.
It's mostly movies I haven't seen, and sometimes, but if it's something I'm like really meaning to rewatch, like this, then I'll put it on there.
I'm excited.
This is a
movie I would love to rewatch.
But it goes back and forth between Inception and Saltburn are the two most popular movies on Letterboxd that I have. I haven't seen Saltburn.
You haven't seen Saltburn?
No, but I know the parts. Okay, that's enough of that. We'll get into it later. This is the ending of the show. Thank you.
Thanks for laying that out for us.
It's like, what is the PBS broadcast at the end of like an episode of Arthur? It's like, Magic School Bus brought to viewers like you.
Thank you.
They
say they're sponsors, though.
Yeah, we don't have any
National
sponsors.
Science Association.
Sponsored by Christina's babysitting jobs.
I guess. I mean, I'm not using any of that money towards this at the moment.
Fair enough. Sponsored by Christina's father.
Yeah.
For getting us a microphone.
He bought us a mic. Sponsored by My Closet. Our recording studio.
Sponsored by our roommates who deal with us having to turn the AC off for an hour and a half.
Uh-huh.
On a hot Glendale night.
Actually, luckily it's kind of cooled down.
No, it did really cool down. Okay.
Focus.
Lock in. We're at
practice
home
locking
stretch.
in
Home stretch.
So we can lock in for Inception.
Home stretch. Okay, if you want to reach out to the show, you can at shutupandwatchpod@gmail.com. Oh, no, just shut up. No, it is shutupandwatchpod @gmail.com. Or connect with us on shutupandwatchpod on Instagram. Our letterbox is shutupandwatch. We also have a website called shutupandwatchpod.podbean.com. Yellow, purple, Comic Sans. You know the deal.
I want to say the letterbox. I fell a little behind. But
I noticed.
I updated it. I haven't been on
your case about it because you manage all the social media. But
I updated it yesterday or 2 days ago, and it should be when this episode comes out. I may not have this episode up yet, but hypothetically, it should be updated.
You know us, podcast professionals. We take this 100% seriously all the time.
Really full time, around the clock, just podcasts. Babysitting is just a side gig for the podcast.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, thank you to our good friends, Ronan Lilly for the edit, Bailey Johnson for the logo, Justin Hicklin for the theme song. If you like the show and want to help us out, you can follow us on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Maybe more podcatchers will come. I'm trying to figure out YouTube still. I have not really worked on it. Rate us 5 stars. Leave a positive review if you want. I just think
we're both falling a little bit behind. It's fine.
It'll help us out. Rate us 5 stars because this is the 5-star quality we're giving you. Nonchalantly, not editing our letterboxd or getting us on more platforms.
I also have been meaning to post a lot more on social media, which I haven't. But
this is great.
Change. It's going to change. We're going to be better.
No, baby, it's going to be different. We got to go to podcast therapy.
Changed. I promise.
And did you know, Christina, if you share this podcast with a friend, you get to hold hands with Mr. Darcy, and then afterwards he'll flex his hand.
Oh my god, that's all
I gotta stop stuttering.
If a guy did that to me, stop. Like, let's get married.
Hand flex? Is it really that, like, I'm gonna have to, again, another thing I'm gonna have to pull.
I don't think it'd work for you.
What the? That's so mean. Why?
No, just like, well, I mean, you're already in a relationship. I feel like it's different.
You don't think she'd be like...
It's part of the yearning, I feel like.
Okay.
Yeah. But maybe, I mean, hey, you can give it a try.
I'm gonna keep that private, and I'm not gonna update with what happens.
Okay.
So I'm just believe that it works.
I think it does.
I guess it will.
I think yearning is a big part of it, but...
Yearning?
Yeah.
I don't even know what else to say. I feel like I've trailed off, and my brain is just thinking of nothing but Mr. Darcy.
Done, right?
Okay, yes.
That's all I think about.
All right, yeah, we're done. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.